Hello and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here are the latest headlines that we are tracking. Mutual trust and cooperation needed for Indus Water Treaty to work, says India. This as it steps up offensive against Pakistan at the UNGA, calling it a terrorist state. Special session of the Karnataka Assembly today to decide on the Supreme Court directive for release of Kaveri water to Tamil Nadu. Karnataka Chief Minister calls on Water Resources Minister seeks central help. Mumbai coast on high alert after a group of armed men are spotted suspiciously moving near naval base in Iran. Multi-agency search operations underway. Heavy rains lash Mumbai and Andhra Pradesh. 5 people killed in Guntur. Mumbai-Goa National Highway closed. NDRF on alert in Hyderabad. And the first fighter jet deal in 20 years to be inked between India and France today. 36 Rafale jets to be delivered in 66 months to India. Well, the Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan has now come into focus in the wake of the current hostilities between the two countries. Now, India has said that mutual trust and cooperation are important for such a treaty to work. Now, this comes as New Delhi strongly criticized Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's speech at the United Nations General Assembly. Now, exercising its right to reply at the United Nations, India called Pakistan a terror state and said that the country was allowing terror organizations to roam freely in its territory.
The land of Takshila, one of the greatest learning centers of ancient times, is now host to the Ivy League of terrorism. It attracts aspirants and apprentices from all over the world. The effect of its toxic curriculum are felt across the globe.
A stinging response to Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif from India. In a sharp rebuttal to the Pakistan Prime Minister's speech at the UNGA, senior diplomat Inam Gambhir described Pakistan as a terrorist state that carries out war crimes against Indians by sponsoring terrorism. Exercising India's right to reply, Inam Gambhir referred to terrorist groups Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba, leaders of which continue to roam free in Pakistan.
What we see in Pakistan, Mr. President, is a terrorist state which analyzes billions of dollars, much of it diverted from international aid to training, financing and supporting terrorist groups as militant proxies against its neighbors. Terrorist entities and their leaders, including many designated by the UN, continue to roam its streets freely and operate with state support.
Minister of State for External Affairs MJ Akbar also slammed Nawaz Sharif's speech, where the Pakistan Prime Minister glorified Hizbul militant Burhan Wani, who was killed in an encounter in Kashmir in July.
It was shocking that a leader of a nation can glorify a self-declared, a self-advertised terrorist at such a forum. This is self-incrimination by the Pakistan Prime Minister.
MEA spokesperson Vikas Swarup also countered Nawaz Sharif's allegations, questioning how India's only condition for talks to end terrorism was unacceptable to Pakistan. The MEA also saying that mutual trust and cooperation were needed for the 56-year-old Indus Water Treaty to work. This assertion coming amid calls in India for the government to scrap the Water Distribution Pact.
There are differences between India and Pakistan on the implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty, but this is an issue which is being addressed bilaterally. But let me make a basic point. Eventually, any cooperative arrangement requires goodwill and mutual trust on both sides.
Political leaders also described Nawaz Sharif's speech as a major disappointment, cautioning the government that there was no use engaging in talks with the country anymore.
This kind of nonsense really discredits, I think, the kind of responsible statesmanship you expect from the Prime Minister of a country.
Nawaz Sharif at UN yesterday was at his pathetic best. He talked not like the Supreme Commander of Pakistan, but he talked like the Supreme Commander of Hizbul Mujahideen.
However, India's biggest response to Sharif's speech is expected in External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's address at the UNGA on September 26, with inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Pakistan also finds itself isolated on the international platform with its close ally China, distancing itself from reports that Beijing has backed Pakistan over Kashmir. Afghanistan too has been unrelenting in its critique of Pakistan at the UNGA. The Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, however, has said again that India is in habit of blaming its neighbour for all the terror attacks.
Even before Pakistani Prime Minister walked up to the dais to address the 71st Annual United Nations General Assembly, it was amply clear that he would rake up the Kashmir issue. Devoting much of his 20-minute speech to Kashmir, Nawaz Sharif insisted that peace and normalization between India and Pakistan could not be achieved without a resolution of the Kashmir dispute. Interestingly, he pointed out that his country has gone the extra mile to achieve this.
Pakistan wants peace with India. We have gone the extra mile to achieve this, repeatedly offering a dialogue to address all outstanding issues. But India has posed unacceptable preconditions to engage in a dialogue.
While pointing out his country's so-called efforts to achieve peace, Sharif glorified slain Hizbul militant Burhan Wani as a young leader, adding that Pakistan fully supports the demand of the Kashmiri people for self-determination. Sharif went on to say that Indian brutalities in Kashmir were well documented and that Pakistan would share with the Secretary General evidence of violation of human rights in Jammu and Kashmir. He added that Pakistan wanted stability in Southeast Asia.
Pakistan is committed to the establishment of strategic stability in the region. It neither wants nor is it engaged in an arms race with India. But we cannot ignore our neighbors' unprecedented arms buildup and will take whatever measures are necessary to maintain credible deterrence.
Sharif also said that India has a habit of blaming Pakistan for all terror attacks on its soil. However, Islamabad continues to find itself isolated on the international platform, China distancing itself from Pakistani media reports which claim that Premier Li Keqiang has conveyed China's backing to Pakistan on the Kashmir issue during his meeting with Nawaz Sharif. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, and I quote, "The issue of Kashmir is an issue left over from history. Our stance on that is consistent. We hope that parties concerned will pursue a peaceful settlement through dialogue." Afghanistan called Pakistan out at the UNGA, telling the international community that the elimination of safe havens, especially those in Pakistan, are paramount in the fight against terrorism.
ما از دولت‌ها می‌خواهیم که در مبارزه با تروریسم تعهدات بین‌المللی خود را صادقانه اجرا نمایند و با برخورد دوگانه تروریستان را به تروریست‌های خوب و بد تقسیم نکنند و بیش از این موجب تضعیف نظم بین‌المللی نشوند. ما در این رابطه از شما می‌پرسیم که رهبران پیشین القاعده و طالبان در کجا اقامت داشتند و در کجا کشته شدند.
While Sharif addressed the UNGA, several Baloch and Indian activists held large-scale demonstrations outside the UN headquarters. They demanded an end to export of terror into India.
मेरे ख्याल में पाकिस्तान पर ये प्रेशर इंटरनेशनली बढ़ाना चाहिए, इनको टेररिस्ट स्टेट और उसकी आर्मी को एक ब्लैकलिस्ट करना चाहिए कि तमाम जो दुनिया के ममालिक हैं इनको सपोर्ट करना छोड़ दें और इनको ब्लैकलिस्ट करें.
India has been countering Pakistan's allegation of excesses in Jammu and Kashmir with human rights violation in Balochistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news. Well, the three-day National Council meet begins in Kozhikode in Kerala today. Now, BJP President Amit Shah is already in Kozhikode for the event. Now, almost all the party leaders and central ministers will join the three-day conclave. Prime Minister Modi will arrive on Saturday in Kerala. Now, the highlight of the conclave is a rally to be addressed by the Prime Minister on Saturday. The meet would also focus on Deen Dayal Upadhyay, whose birth centenary is being marked by the party. The Prime Minister will inaugurate an year-long birth centenary celebration on Sunday, marking the culmination of the three-day national conclave. Let's go across to my colleague Vishal Daya, who's joining us from Kozhikode. Vishal, tell us more about this BJP national meet. What is the agenda? This meet, especially coming in the backdrop of the Uri terror attack. What else is going to be on agenda today?
Well, it's a three-day event which has been organized by the ruling party BJP, although the National Council will meet on the third day, that's Sunday. But it's important because if you look at the entire process through which all such meets are being held by the BJP, then today, the first day being, the general secretaries of the party and the office bearers of the party will meet to chalk out the agenda for the National Council meet. But you put it perfectly right that the highlight of the meet will be that public, rally which will be addressed by the Prime Minister tomorrow in the evening. That becomes important because this would be a first such public address by the Prime Minister after Uri attacks, and everyone would want to, or rather would be hoping to hear from the Prime Minister his point of view in terms of security scenario across, along the line of control, as well as India's response to Uri attack and other such happenings. Apart from that, as far as the National Council main agenda is concerned, well, this is being done to mark the centenary birth celebrations of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, one of the founders of BJP, which was earlier Jan Sangh as well. He was in fact, appointed the president of Jan Sangh in 1960s at this particular place itself in one of such conclaves of the then Jan Sangh. And the party would want to carry forward his agenda of the fight against malnutrition and poverty. This officially is the main agenda. But then, given the present scenario, Aishwarya, and given the current situation both within the country and at the international forum as well, it seems that the issue of national security as well as terror attacks is something which will also remain high on the agenda, although this is something which is to be discussed and decided by the office bearers and the national general secretaries, the meeting which is ongoing right now in Kozhikode.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for all those updates there. That is one story that we'll keep tracking through the day. Meanwhile, let's move on in the bulletin. Karnataka state legislature will meet today to decide on the Supreme Court's order on the Kaveri water issue. Well, ahead of the meeting, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah met Water Resources Minister Uma Bharti to apprise her of the state's inability to supply water to Tamil Nadu.
Amid escalating row between neighbouring states Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, a special session of the Karnataka legislature will be held today to decide on the Supreme Court direction to the state to release 6,000 cusecs of Kaveri water per day to Tamil Nadu. The Karnataka government had decided to postpone the implementation of the Supreme Court directive on Wednesday, calling it unimplementable. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah met Union Water Resources Minister Uma Bharti in New Delhi on Thursday and requested the centre to file an objection against the court's direction to constitute the Kaveri Water Management Board. Siddaramaiah also appraised the minister of the grim situation in the state due to low water levels in its 4 reservoirs and its struggle to meet drinking water demands in the backdrop of 2 consecutive drought years.
ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ 4 ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ನಿಂದ ಬರೀ 26 TMC ನೀರಿದೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಕುಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ, ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕುಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ನೀರು ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. We require 27 TMC of water. But whereas the storage is from all the reservoirs is only 26 TMC of water. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಪತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್ ನೋ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್.
The Karnataka government also urged the Prime Minister to sort out the ongoing Kaveri water dispute at the earliest. The Congress party staged a protest against the apex court order and demanded the centre's intervention.
From out of the little experience I have of the agonizing times I have gone through, and that's what the present Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has also is going through. So we exchange notes, and anyway, he has taken a very bold step, a bold decision, and I would like to commend that decision.
हम ये चाहते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी इसमें इंटरफियर करें, चारों राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्रियों को बुलाए और चर्चा करके हमारे को न्याय दे, क्योंकि हमारे पास पीने के लिए पानी नहीं है और हमारे लोग परेशान हैं।
In Tamil Nadu, the opposition DMK urged the state government to schedule a special session to discuss the next course of action.
It is the Kaveri verdict from the Supreme Court, and whoever may be the person and whatever may be the level of the post which they are occupying, they should obey the law, and it is the verdict of the Supreme Court. And apart from that, Tamil Nadu is requesting the water which is their right.
Karnataka is opposing the release of more water, claiming that with a deficient rainfall, there is not enough water even for drinking. The Karnataka government also fears that the release of more water could result in another period of protests across the state. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, time to take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Our institute's mandate is to work with different natural fibers, excluding cotton. Plastic has got definite advantages, it's true, but simultaneously it is also true that it is not biodegradable. We have developed a technology using which almost no water is required.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Gautam Roy, Director, National Institute of Research on Jute and Allied Fiber Technology, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. Now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Thursday chaired the first meeting of the GST Council in the national capital yesterday. Well, consensus eluded the first meeting of the Council on the exemption limit to apply the new national sales tax. Now, moving towards rolling out of the GST from 1st of April next year, the centre and states, however, agreed on a timetable to decide the GST rate as well as to complete the legislative business. Now, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh demanded a larger say than one state, one vote principle that puts a smaller state on an equal footing with the large. Now, the demand, however, was overruled by the others. The meeting, which will continue today, is expected to make recommendations on various issues. Meanwhile, the government is planning to introduce the GST legislations, that is, the central GST and the integrated GST, in the upcoming winter session of Parliament.
जहां तक exemptions का प्रश्न है, दो व्यू पॉइंट आए हैं और उन दो व्यू पॉइंट में एक की तरफ अब हमने कन्वर्ज करना है। एक है कि एग्जेम्पशन लिमिट 10 लाख की हो। अधिकतर कम रेवेन्यू वाले राज्य चाहते हैं, जहां छोटे व्यवसायी हैं, कि हमारा राजस्व वहां से आता है तो 10 लाख की हो। अधिक संख्या में वो लोग भी रहे हैं जिन्होंने कहा है कि 25 लाख की हो। और इसलिए ऑफिसर्स ट्रैक पे भी, दैट इज द टेक्निकल ट्रैक एंड द मिनिस्टेरियल ट्रैक, विल ट्राई एंड फॉर्म अ कंसेंसस ऑन दैट।
इसमें विचार चल रहा है। ऑफिसर्स आर मीटिंग, they will further discuss different viewpoints raised in the meeting with numbers, with statistics, with their own state's experience, so that can be collated.
दिल्ली के ट्रेडर्स को देखते हुए, दिल्ली के व्यापारिक हित को देखते हुए मैंने जोर दिया है कि 25 लाख की थ्रेशोल्ड होनी चाहिए। 10 लाख की लिमिट लाने का मतलब है कि जो 60-70 हजार रुपए महीने का भी टर्नओवर करता है, उसको भी जीएसटी के दायरे में आना पड़ेगा, which is against the traders.
On to the other big story. Well, India and France will today ink the Rafale jets deal. Well, this deal would be signed in the presence of French Defence Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, who arrived in India last night. The €7.8 billion deal for 36 Rafale jets, which will come equipped with the latest missiles and weapons system, will give the Indian Air Force a cutting edge over arch rival Pakistan. Well, this is the first fighter jet deal India has signed in 20 years. The deal comes with a saving of nearly €750 million than the one struck during the previous UPA regime, which was scrapped by the Narendra Modi government, besides a 50% offset clause. Now, the delivery of the combat aircraft will start in 36 months and will be completed in 66 months from the date the contract is inked. Well, India's western coastal states, Maharashtra and Gujarat, including financial capital Mumbai, are on highest state of alert since yesterday after a few suspicious men were spotted near a naval base in Raigad district. Here are all the updates. The Western Naval Command issued a higher state of alert along the Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Thane and Raigad coasts on Thursday after a group of men were spotted moving suspiciously near a naval base at Uran in Maharashtra's Raigad district. According to reports, 5 to 6 persons were spotted in Pathan suits and appeared to be carrying weapons and backpacks near the ammunition storage facility of the naval base in Uran.
10th स्टैंडर्ड की स्टूडेंट ही लड़की थी जिसने देखा उसने कुछ बातचीत सुनी कि उन्होंने उसमें बोला गया कि यहाँ ONGC प्लांट है ONGC प्लांट और स्कूल they didn't mention any school but स्कूल अटैक करना है फिर we will move in pairs.
Security agencies, including Elite Anti-Terror Commando Force (NSG) and officials handling coastal security, have been asked to keep a close vigil on the coastlines. While Gujarat has been put on high alert, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has appealed to citizens not to panic as the state government is taking all the necessary precautions.
सब एजेंसीज मुंबई पहुंच गई है तो किसी को कुछ चिंता करने की जरूरी नहीं है. लोग शांति बनाए रखें, अफवाहों पे विश्वास नहीं करें और गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज को कोऑपरेट करें. अगर कोई भी सस्पिशियस चीज आपको लगे तो आप तुरंत पुलिस को इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म करें.
The Indian Navy has launched a search operation along with Maharashtra Police and other agencies in search of the suspects. The Navy has also pressed its choppers for aerial surveillance and heightened patrolling in the sea by its vessels and high-speed boats. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, heavy rainfall has disrupted normal life in Mumbai, Andhra Pradesh and several other adjoining areas, with the weather department predicting very heavy rains in the next 24 hours as well. Now, most parts of Mumbai are underwater, throwing life out of gear, with the city recording over 104 millimeters of rainfall in a day, leading to waterlogging poured in from several areas. Now, the Mumbai-Goa National Highway was on Thursday closed for heavy traffic due to heavy rainfall in Konkan region. Office goers and school children were among the worst hit as they faced difficulties in commuting. Now, angry residents blamed the civic authorities and alleged that they were not doing their job properly. Meanwhile, heavy rains continue to pour over all Andhra Pradesh, which has resulted in overflowing of lakes as 5 persons were killed in Guntur district. Several villages have been affected with several colonies in Guntur, Krishna and Kurnool inundated with water, while heavy rains lashed east and west Godavari districts, resulting in rainwaters flowing on the roads. Now, Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu reviewed the situation in the state and instructed the officials to give all the necessary help and medicines to people in the affected areas. Meanwhile, the NDRF has been put on high alert in Hyderabad for any rescue work that might be required. News now from the US, where the police use of force against black men has been the subject of protests. Now, a police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black motorist in Tulsa, Oklahoma, has been charged with manslaughter. Now, Officer Betty Shelby shot and killed Terence Crutcher last week while he was standing next to his broken-down car. Police officer Shelby's lawyer said that she acted because she feared for her life, believing that Crutcher was reaching out into his vehicle for a weapon during the encounter. Now, if convicted, Shelby could face a minimum of 4 years in prison. And there were protests in Charlotte, North Carolina over the shooting. There were protests there 2 days back as well. After Keith Lemont's court, also a black man was shot by the police. Police say that Scott refused to drop his gun, but his family says that he was unarmed and holding a book.
Officer Shelby, although now charged, is presumed to be innocent until a judge or a jury determines otherwise. A warrant has been issued for her arrest. I have been in communication with an attorney who has been retained to represent her, and arrangements are being made for her surrender to the Tulsa County Sheriff's Department.
Let's get to some more international stories. Here is the World Wrap. Yahoo Inc. disclosed on Thursday that hackers stole information from about 500 million users from its network in 2014. The leak appears to be the largest publicly disclosed cyber breach in history. Yahoo says it believed that the attack was state-sponsored. The leak included swathes of personal information, including names and emails, as well as unencrypted security questions and answers. However, the company said that it did not include any credit card data. The FBI is investigating the attack. The US military has confirmed that a rocket launched by the Islamic State militants at American troops based in Iraq did contain a mustard agent. This after tests were conducted to discover if chemical agents were used in the attack. The attack on the American troops took place at the Qayyara Air Base near the IS stronghold of Mosul. While no one was hurt in the attack, US says that it was a concerning development. 9 more bodies have been recovered from the Mediterranean a day after a boat carrying hundreds of migrants capsized off the coast of Egypt, bringing the death toll to 52. Police arrested 4 members of the boat's crew. Security sources said that it had been loaded with almost 600 migrants. The boat sank on Wednesday off Burg Rashed, a village in Egypt's north. Rescue workers and fishermen have rescued 169 people, suggesting that hundreds might have perished at the sea. Airstrikes by the Saudi-led coalition targeting rebels in Yemen that hit civilian homes in a Red Sea port city have killed at least 32 people and wounded 60. Fighter jets of an Arab alliance launched missiles on Wednesday in the city of Hudayra, which is occupied by Iran-allied Houthi militia. The Saudi-led coalition was formed early last year to fight the Houthis after they took over the capital, Sana'a. Let's get you some cricket news now. In India, let go off a solid start as its middle order collapsed, reducing them to 291 for 9 on the opening day of the first test match against New Zealand in Kanpur. Well, half centuries from Murli Vijay and Cheteshwar Pujara were wasted. Well, after electing to bat in the historic 500th test, India were comfortably placed at 154 before a disciplined bowling effort from the New Zealand, complemented by some bad batting from the Indian middle order, saw 4 wickets gone for just 16 runs. Left-arm spinner Michelle Santer rocked the top order, while Trent Boult was also menacing, finished with the figures of 3, giving just 57 runs in just 17 overs. Well, the Green Park track was not a rank turner on the first day, but it did offer some assistance to the spinners. Now, Indian batsmen have struggled against spin in the recent times as well. Well, with this is the wrap on this edition of news. Thanks for watching.